Look at Bill Shank.
Wow, looking for love? Hello, ladies. My name is Bill Clark. Does your heart seek companionship of an intense, passionate man of action? Let me check your boxes. Gentleman by day, bad boy by night, always covered in sand, milk, bread, eggs. Hi, Jason, it's Dad. How do I stop making a list on the computer? Oh, wait, I think that's it. Journey to the Savage Planet, the only game where you can punt a chicken into a living garbage disposal. Yeah! That is disgusting and awesome at the same time.
It's great.
If you've been a PC gamer for the last couple years, I'm sure you've been made aware of the Epic Games Store. They've seriously disrupted the PC gaming space, mainly due to their very aggressive approach to market control. You may not like the Epic Games Store, but you most likely have an account, whether that's because of their library of exclusive games or just because they consistently give out a free game every week. Whatever your reason is, you probably have it on your computer, and if you don't yet, you probably will now. And part of that aforementioned library of exclusive games happens to be a game called Journey to the Savage Planet. Honestly, when it first came out, I didn't really pay much attention to it. It looked a lot like a space survival game a la Astroneer or No Man's Sky, which I'm not the biggest fan of most of the time, so I just kind of overlooked it. Fast forward a full year, and the timed exclusivity deal that 505 had with Epic had just expired, resulting in Journey to the Savage Planet being released on Steam, which also meant that it took up the front page of Steam on release day, so I ended up taking another look. Turns out, it's actually a two-player co-op game. At this point, I was still pretty sure it was a crafting game, but I thought, what could possibly go wrong? We end up refunding it? Doesn't sound like there's much to lose, so why the hell not? And spoilers, I'm really glad we checked it out. But before we get into that, for those of you who are new to my channel, I review co-op games, or rather co-op in games. Basically, I review games specifically on their experience being played with friends, and how to get you set up so you can play them for yourself. No review scores, I simply give my opinion on whether it's worth your time or not. As always, these reviews are sorted into the good, the bad, and the co-op. And let's get things started by talking about the good. Here's a quick disclaimer. If you don't know anything about this game and are looking for a co-op game to play with a friend, please stop watching right now and go play it for yourself first. Most of the fun that comes from this game is knowing absolutely nothing about it, so I highly recommend going in blind. But definitely come back after you're done to watch this video. Final warning before I start for you to leave the video. All right. Let's get started. Journey to the Savage Planet is the most fun I've had exploring and discovering since Breath of the Wild. Now, I know that's a gigantic statement, but trust me when I say that this is a good-ass game. But also you don't need to trust me because I'm about to explain why. First and foremost, this game is about exploration, discovery, and experimentation, which each of these pillars feed into the next, so I think it's important we expound upon what each of them mean, which of course means talking about exploration first. Journey to the Savage Planet is what we in the biz would call a Metroidvania, which is a genre defined by two games, Metroid and Castlevania. The short of it is that Metroidvanias are, yes, technically open worlds, but it's more of a semi-open world in how areas open up to you. Unlike a standard open world game like Breath of the Wild, for instance, Metroidvanias don't let you go everywhere from the get-go. They're defined by locking off certain areas behind progression items. So on your way to your destination, you'll pass 100 different pathways you can't go down yet, simply because you don't have a certain item or ability to progress through them. Grapple rail. Wait, we can actually get that right now. Hold on. Jared.
What's up?
We should get the thing first.
Maybe.
Journey to the Savage Planet does this in all the best ways. The world that you explore is vast, unique, beautiful, intriguing, and every little part of it has something that's interesting to find. Jared and I found ourselves constantly getting distracted because there was always someplace interesting to go and explore that just so happened to not be the main objective that we were ultimately going for. Now there's stuff over here. Well, there's a grapple. Oh! I found a secret, Jared.
What's that?
I found a gooble.
A gooble?
I found a grobble.
I want gooble.
You got it.
A gooble.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
Just speaking nonsense now. The game is always prodding your curiosity with something interesting by saying, hey, why don't you come and see what's over here? But what's even cooler is that what the game is calling you to explore is actually worth discovering. Whether it's an upgrade material for your suit and tools, an intriguing puzzle to solve, a satisfying parkour challenge, or a progression item to open up new pathways for you, there is always something interesting to discover when you simply explore in any direction. And they aren't just interesting to discover, they're also enjoyable to play through once you discover them. These secrets are scattered in every possible place, so you never get a chance to feel bored. The game is constantly throwing new things at you to use and experiment with, making you always feel like you're close to the next really cool thing. Which, to be fair, you probably are. Oh, hey, yeah, you have to mantle.
I'm trying, it's not letting me.
You just hold it.
I'm doing that!
No.
Yeah!
No.
Yeah!
No.
Yeah!
Yeah! I would list a bunch of the really fun and unique items that you're given for progression, but I really think you should find them out for yourself. Rest assured, there's tons of fun things to not only find, but to also play with, which after you unlock the next thing, you'll suddenly realize all the places that have opened up to you because of that one upgrade.
Stay.
We need to go up there, Jared. We need to figure out how to get up there. Stop getting distracted. We need to get up there.
The fish bird poops on me.
And the last pillar, of course, experimentation, is made possible by the staggering amount of tools that you have at your disposal. Each tool is incredibly polished, and with that, they become game mechanics in themselves. And not only the tools, but the level design itself supports creative thinking. I can think of a very specific instance where we were trying to get some rocket fuel, but it was pretty clear that we needed an extra double jump. But instead of giving up, I messed around with some of the mechanics and found my own solution.
How many fuel do we have?
I just figured it out.
What?
I feel so smart.
Fuel locations.
Cool. I feel so smart. That's awesome. Not every puzzle that you're faced with can be solved by being creative like this, but there are a surprising number of them where you can, which is a big ol' win in my book. With the 3 pillars of exploration, discovery, and experimentation all working together is what I think really makes this game unforgettable. And due to it being all about discovery, the experience is made all the better when you know next to nothing about it. This game is defined by those oh shit moments that you can't have any other way besides going in blind.
Yes?
No, I'm not saying anything. It's the kind of childlike wonderment that's so hard to describe. All I can really say is if you've ever gotten excited about finding something in Breath of the Wild, you'll feel the exact same kind of feeling, but ×2 because you get to experience it with a friend. And even though you've made it through this far, I still think you should give it a shot. I've been vague enough where I think you can still have a really great time with Journey to the Savage Planet. Again, if this has at all convinced you, stop watching and go play it, then finish the video. Now, Journey to the Savage Planet's polish is through the roof, but that doesn't always mean that each and everything is perfect. Yes, there are hundreds of interesting and exciting things to do in it, but they don't all necessarily hit it out of the park. It's not very often, but every once in a while you hit a particularly slow mission where it's just not as fun as the rest of the game. Again, it's hardly ever the case. I can only really remember one specific mission that really stuck out, but let's just say that not every mission is a masterpiece, which I think comes with the territory when you have such an insane amount of content. And I think that's really exemplified in the boss fights. The bosses themselves aren't necessarily bad per se, they're just kinda unremarkable. I kid you not, each and every boss is a hit glowy spot for massive damage, and then they die. None of them are particularly difficult, they just kinda are.
We killed the FLOOPSNOOT matriarch. You're bad because you were in our way, and now your species is dead.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Humans!
Sure, some of them are more difficult than others, but it's just wait for them to show their weak spot, shoot at said weak spot, then dodge and wait for them to become weak again. Not exactly super engaging. Which, to be fair, that isn't always the boss's fault, because it's pretty clear that the controls weren't super designed for combat. It's difficult to put into words, but I think the lingering word that I would use is stiff. Yes, you are pretty mobile, but not at a split-second notice. There are also side steps, but they're clunky to activate. Paired with the mostly shooting mechanics, it kind of feels basic when you're in intense combat. That's hardly really a negative though, as the game focuses more on exploration and discovery than intricate combat. It's serviceable, and that's all I really think was necessary. Oh. I probably should have scanned that. Now I can. Okay.
It's a FLOOPSNOOT.
Okay. Yep, and they keep spawning. They do a lot of damage.
You're getting FLOOPSNOOted.
I know. I've always told you, Jared, as long as I've known you, to never floop my snoot.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. You try what? You try to floop my snoot?
No.
I told you to never. I know you know. I told you to never floop my snoot.
I'm not a FLOOPSNOOter.
However, what I will say is disappointing is the ending. Journey to the Savage Planet progresses at such a breakneck pace in its 7-hour runtime that I think it ends up going too big too fast. Because you go from getting a cool new ability or tool every 30 minutes or so to getting absolutely nothing for the last hour and a half. It runs out of steam as far as introducing new mechanics, and the last level doesn't utilize all those mechanics well enough to feel like a conclusion, which, said last level, goes into one of the most underwhelming final bosses I think I've ever seen. So much so that when the credits started rolling, I legit thought it was a joke or something. Luckily, there is an actual real ending if you get enough rocket fuel, but the damage had already been done. Once the game is over, there isn't a huge reason to go back. Although, I would also say that replayability is going to inherently be a drawback for a game that focuses heavily on player discovery. You sadly can't discover something twice, as much as I would like to. Co-op for Journey to the Savage Planet is almost entirely painless. It's as simple as just inviting your friend and starting the game. No stupid internal friends list garbage or progression prerequisites. You can literally play the entirety of the game from start to finish in co-op, which sounds like a no-brainer, but it's amazing how many games are weird about this kind of thing, so I'm very thankful that it was easy to set up. Why are you glitching out? Okay. All right. As far as the co-op experience goes, it's pretty much exactly what you would want. Upgrades, crafting materials, and progression items are all shared, so there's no need to fight over resources. Puzzles are laid out in such a manner where nothing is explained too clearly, so there's tons of room to collaborate and figure out solutions together. The absolute overabundance of things to do is definitely something to keep in mind, as staying on task is kind of difficult, but in the best way possible.
Secret nearby.
Oh my god.
A secret, Grant.
We gotta get the grapple hook we want.
A secret.
I know, but we need grapple.
Where's secret?
But where's secret?
A secret, Grant.
But where's secret?
I don't know.
But secret, Jared.
Secret.
But where's Jared's secret?
A secret.
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 Ooh, what's this?
Secret?
Secret? One of the best co-op related features that Journey to the Savage Planet has is, ironically, friendly fire. I mean, clearly, it's fun to kill your friends when you're supposed to be helping each other. That's the obvious reason why it's a great inclusion. But on top of that, it's actually kind of practical. When a teammate dies, they aren't completely out of the game. They go into a down state, which you can revive them if you get there in time, which restores a certain amount of health back to your teammate. But sometimes you leave a battle and you have like 1 HP, so an easy way to heal is to have your teammate down you and then have them pick you back up, and you'll have more health than when you started. I would love to have some health at some point.
I have full health.
Well, good for you. Okay. Thank you. That's about it for co-op specific mechanics though. This game is supposed to also be played in single player, so it makes sense that's about where it stops. But what it does have is more than enough to make for a good time. There are really only a couple negatives on the co-op side of things, and they aren't really all that major. First of all, there's no drop-in, drop-out co-op. Basically, if someone leaves, that ends the entire session, which wouldn't be much of a big issue on its own, besides it being a minor annoyance. But the bigger issue is that the game in its current state, at least at the time of writing, your friend will have to leave quite a few times. Not because they want to, but because this game has some networking bugs. There were multiple occasions where either Jared would start falling through the floor once we respawned after death, or his controls would simply just stop working. What's going on? What's that? Oh, okay. I see you falling through the ground. Don't worry, I'm filling out a new report.
That's good.
Here, I'll Well, that's unfortunate. It didn't happen a ton, but it was often enough to be a little annoying. Journey to the Savage Planet is one of those games that leaves a lasting impression after finishing it. Sure, it's not totally perfect, but it delivers in spades in its sense of exploration, discovery, and experimentation. It's not the game I thought it was, and I could not be happier for it. It's able to capture all the things that made the open world great in Breath of the Wild, but slapped it onto a cooperative game so you can experience that magic with a friend. At the end of the day, the only meaningful negative thing that I have to say is that I wish I could play it again for the first time all over again. I think it goes without saying, but to answer the question, should you play Journey to the Savage Planet in co-op? Absolutely. I honestly think it should be on every co-op gamer's must-have list. I'm The Amazing Gap, and thanks for watching.